On the mid-morning show on TalkSport, listening to Mike Porky Parry, listening to MG Graham, and we're going to be talking golf for the next half hour or so here on TalkSport. The reason being is that we are very, very lucky to be able to tell you that we've got Tom Watson, a golfing legend, coming on to join us in a few minutes' time to talk about the forthcoming Open, in which, of course, he distinguished himself, Mike, in a most remarkable way last year, didn't he?
Last year at Turnberry, absolutely tremendous, wasn't it? And I mean, it was a shame in a way because he just kind of faltered in the playoff at the end because he literally just, I think, got tired, you know, because he was so much older than Stuart Sink, who ended up going on to win.
That's right, or pressure or whatever.
But he did brilliantly, absolutely brilliant. And of course, at St Andrews, he may well do the same again because I think it's one of his favourite places to play.
Of course it is, and if you want to get going on golf, and people do get excited this time of the year, make sure you stay tuned in, not just to listen to a legend Tom Watson, but he's got a new DVD out which teaches you the basic methods of getting a golf club in your hands and getting that ball off down the fairway in a manner satisfactory to yourself.
And you, of course, are very well versed in playing golf with very highly paid and very good professionals, right?
I recently did play a few holes with Mr. Ian Poulter.
How did that go?
The 6th best golfer in the world and one of my pals. How did it go? I'll tell you exactly how it went, mate.
Did you win any holes?
I'm sorry?
Did you win any holes off it?
It doesn't matter whether I won holes or not. We weren't really playing competitively.
Really?
It was just to play with each other. Anyway, look, Tom Watson's already spoken about matters golf-wise, which you're going to have a look at now. We want a call from you, please, when you've heard what he's got to say. It's 08717 223344, or text us on 81089, or email us via the website on talksport.net. You're listening to TalkSport. It's Mike Porky Parry and MG Graham, and it's 11:05. Right, a very good morning to you again. Mike, actually, one of the reasons we're talking to Tom Watson is because he's made some comments about Tiger Woods this morning. Perhaps you could fill us in on that.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, he's been critical of Tiger Woods in the past, you know, when all of his personal problems came about. Not just because of that, but partly because Tiger Woods has been such a great ambassador for the game, and people have thought of Tiger Woods whenever they've thought of golf. But some of his behaviour around the golf course, not just now, but even when he was at the height of his powers, you know, he sort of, you know, slams his clubs into the ground, you know, he swears quite a lot, and he seems to be completely, utterly oblivious to those around him, not just the spectators, but also his fellow players. And so an awful lot of people have said bad things about Tiger, and here's what Tom Watson has said. He says, of course, his behaviour does not show respect for the game. He says his behaviour on the golf course doesn't show the respect for the game that the players who came before him have shown. It doesn't respect Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Byron Nelson, Ben Hogan and Nick Faldo. He needs to clean up his act, which is an extraordinary thing to say about the world's number one golfer.
Can I just say this, please? Massive respect for Tom Watson. I'm just looking at his track record here. You know, 5 times Open champion. Blimey, you can't get more than that, can you? 8 major championships altogether, and headed the PGA Tour money list 5 times. Number 1 player in the world according to McCormack's World Golf Rankings from 1978 to 1982. And the fact that he's still only second to Seve Ballesteros.
But also the fact that, you know, at 60 years of age, he was still basically battling out for the playoff of the Open last year at Turnberry. Tells you what a remarkable man he is.
But can I just finish? Because what I was going to say was this: all of that is outstanding. He's a legend. The man is literally a living legend. You can't say that of many people. You're a bit of a living legend, but not for the same reasons. And what I wanted to say was this: is Tom Watson, who is now 60, is he right in demanding massively high standards of behaviour on a golf course when, for instance, if you think about it, when Sterling Moss and Graham Hill and Jim Clark were all motor racing drivers, it was all a jolly jake with the boys, and you drove around Goodwood and all that, and then you got out afterwards, had a few glasses of champagne and all that. But these days, they don't do that. These days, Lewis Hamilton and Jenson Button might tear each other's throats out, even though they're in the same team, at the British Grand Prix on Sunday. And certainly, before now, we have seen drivers crashing into each other deliberately. We've seen them leaping out of their cockpits and punching each other in the head with their helmets. I mean, the world has changed. I mean, can you honestly expect people to be as massively civilised on a golf course these days, with the massive rewards that are involved, as they were 50 years ago?
Well, I think absolutely you can, because
I don't think you can. I'm not sure you should expect it.
Sport may have become the place where thuggery is now the norm, where, you know, bad behaviour is not even discussed, and quite often it's encouraged. And somehow people have mistaken, you know, bad behaviour for passion. And, you know, but you know, golf is one of the last great bastions of sport, where people are expected to behave in a particular way. And you know, if you knew about the way that golf had sort of come out, I mean, I've been playing golf since the age of 11, and you know, I was taught to play golf. Well, you know, if you know anything about golf, we could have a conversation about it. I know you don't, so we won't go there. But the point is, I was taught about etiquette before I was taught how to play golf.
Etiquette.
And the etiquette of golf is that you respect your fellow players. I haven't been fortunate enough to play in front of a gallery that often, but you know, you would never dream of swearing if there were people standing there watching. You know, there are kids there.
The gallery you ever played in? It was a hamburger gallery.
No, I've actually played in pro-ams, you know, and I played at Loch Lomond where the Scottish Open is currently going on. And the point is that golf is one of the last places where you do expect players to be absolutely and utterly well behaved. And Tiger Woods, because of the things that have happened in his personal life, has disappointed so many people, right?
Well, okay.
And also for him to still be very grumpy as he is when he goes out on the golf course, he doesn't like to talk to his fellow players.
Well, that's okay.
The guy is a disgrace.
Well, hang on. A heavyweight boxer doesn't talk to his opponent when he's in the ring.
Isn't golf, Mike?
No, but it's competitive, and you're up against
supposed
other
to be
people.
a gentleman's sport, you know. If the majority of players can be pleasant, if the majority of players can still play practically as well as Tiger Woods, why do they have to be nasty and horrible?
Let me give you this analogy. In a boxing ring, you've got your fist together and you're trying to punch the lights out of the man opposite you, you know, smash his face in and all that. You are doing that, in essence, on a golf course, aren't you? No, theoretically. Theoretically you are. Now, can I just say this?
No, you're playing the course.
Can I just say this? And I want to put this to our listeners. The number is this: 08717 223344. Text us on 81089. Email us via the website talksport.net. Do you not think the world has overreacted to the situation regarding Tiger Woods? I mean, we are being so morally judgmental on Tiger Woods, it makes me ill. Every man in the world at some time or another has thoughts of infidelity. He has thoughts of doing things that he shouldn't do, that his wife wouldn't like him to do, that he'd be ashamed of if it came to light, and that he might be ashamed of when he wakes up tomorrow morning after he's had a few drinks. We all think like that. Now, hang on, Mike, let me just finish. Please let me just finish.
There's much more of it.
Yeah, yes, there is. And what I'm saying is this: I think it's disgraceful the way you've all jumped on this moral bandwagon. Just have a go at Tiger Woods because he is so clearly the best in the world. And it's envy.
Well, he's not the best in the world anymore, is he?
Well, he was at the time it was happening, right? And we all jumped on the bandwagon. I want to get off his back. I want to say, look, Tiger, you are the best of the world. You've brought us untold joy. We stand there in sheer awe of your ability. And we're not going to talk anymore about your infidelities. You're going to pay probably 50 or 60 million quid to your wife to say sorry anyway. That's big enough punishment for any man. Just get on with playing golf. I want to know if you feel like I do. I do not care about what Tiger Woods has done off the course. On the course, he deserves to be given allowances for slightly tetchy behaviour because he's the best in the world.
I don't agree with that.
When you are genius, you have to have bigger allowances.
This is what's gone wrong in all sorts of sports. This is why kids run around, you know, diving at the age of 10. This is why kids run around shouting at the referee and swearing because they see their idols doing it. Now, if you're a young man taking up golf and you see the way Tiger Woods behaves, you'll think that's the way to behave on a golf course. And I'm sorry, it is not the way to behave on a golf course.
Far too judgmental, Mike. And
not at all.
And typical to come from you with the Scottish influence that you have. And everybody in Scotland thinks because we're Scottish, we know more about golf than everybody else.
Almost everybody knows more about golf than you.
And that irritates me. I'm going to ignore that. Right, I'll tell you what, we're going to be talking to Tom Watson next, but we do want your calls. 08717 223344, or text us on 81089, or email us via the website on talksport.net. Here on Talksport, listening to Porky, Parry and MG Graham. It's 12 minutes past 11.
2010 FIFA World Cup South Africa on Talk Sport with